What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mulder Live podcast. We are live here Monday night, and I am excited to be here with you all. I hope you all are doing good, and I'm excited. I already said that I'm excited to be here. I don't need to say that twice. We're live here from the NCon studios, and excited to be here with you guys for the third time. I don't know why I have to say that so many times, but anyways, big shout out to our sponsors this week, Pave Tool Innovators. PaveTool.com. Go check them out for all your hardscape tool needs. They have all kinds of amazing tools that I use and lots of people use, and suction equipment and compaction equipment and supplies and consumables and clamps and all kinds of awesome stuff. So go check them out. PaveTool.com, and don't forget to use my code Mulder Outdoors, and it will save you 10% off your entire order of anything you can order from their website. So that could be a big savings just depending on what you order. And so don't sleep on that deal. So also thanks to Unilock for being a sponsor this week. Unilock pavers and walls. We use pretty much exclusively use the Unilock for everything. There's sometimes we build natural stone walls and stuff, but a lot of times we're using Unilock. So big thanks to them for being a sponsor this weekend. As always, Albany's Candy Factory, the official candy of the Mulder Live podcast. We will take questions live. We are also live on YouTube, and this is our second or third time doing this. And I adjusted the mic. I adjusted the mic a little bit. I hope it's loud enough. Last week when I went back and listened to it, I didn't think it was loud enough. So if you're watching on YouTube, let me know if the sound is good and if you can hear me good enough. But we'll take questions live on both platforms, and I'm watching both as they come in. And we'll take questions about landscaping, equipment, business, life. We are in the thick of our spring season, and I am feeling it. I didn't get home tonight until 7:30. I ate dinner, said goodnight to my kids, and then came over here to do the podcast. So it is very busy right now, and very thankful to be busy, and thankful for my crew. They have been doing just a great job, and really proud of my team. And we are trying to juggle a lot of stuff right now. It feels like I don't know. I typically am not in the middle of two jobs like we are right now, and really, I just have a long to-do list and a lot of spring work, and it just kind of all crept up on me. And so we're just trying to get a lot of things done at once. And the job that we're on right now, we had pulled off of our big hardscape job to go do this one, and it's gone really, really well. And thankfully, we've had nice weather. They sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments here on YouTube. Jason Smith said it's loud enough, sounds like a radio station. Okay, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm using like a DJI wireless mic, and I hope that that's working. So we're in the middle of two jobs. We pulled off of the big one that we're on to go do this one that we're trying to get done this week, and we will get it done this week. But tomorrow we're going back to our big hardscape job because the gas meter got moved, and I want to have the patio cleaned and sealed before we go back to do all the landscape work, because there's not any dust going on right now, and that's really good. But the gas meter finally got moved, and so now we can fill in the corner where the gas meter was. We got to put in our 3/4 stone, compact that, chips, pavers, sand, and then the patio is going to get cleaned tomorrow afternoon, and then it's going to get sealed as soon as the weather is good. And so I'm really, really hopeful that we have some kind of good weather window after tomorrow for them to get sealing done. And then we'll be going back there maybe Friday. Otherwise, for sure, the following Monday, we'll be back there to start landscaping it. So plants will be coming. I'm going to work on getting some more dirt over there. We're going to bring 2 trucks of dirt there tomorrow, maybe 3 if we have time. And typically I wouldn't be hauling the dirt myself, but we have a lot of nice pulverized dirt now that I've been using my AD equipment screening bucket, and I screened about 60 yards of topsoil. Shoot, maybe even more than that, I don't know. And so I really would like to utilize that now that we have it. And so we're going to haul some dirt there ourselves. And I've considered getting like somebody with a semi to come there, and I would load their truck and haul it there. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how much we need. Like I said, we're going to bring about 10 yards there tomorrow, and then I'm going to grade that out and kind of get a gauge on how much more we need. If it's only like 20 more yards, I mean, we got to go there enough days that whenever we go there with the trucks, we'll haul dirt there, and then the next day we'll bring more. So I don't think I necessarily need to have it all there all at once right away. So anyways, there's just a lot going on, and yeah, thankful for my team. And I think into June, we're booked into June right now, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't really care what other people are doing, but we have a lot of spring work still to do, a lot of mulching, a lot of just, it's not giant stuff, but it's a lot of work, and I'm very thankful. So Brilliant Garden says, dude, we got the kids Albany sour gummies. Those Turks pack. Yeah, your kids will probably be bouncing off the walls now. Brennan Lord and Landscape Construction on Instagram. Thanks for being here tonight. Innovative Landscape Co. says, happy Monday, Andy. Hope you're having good weather. Yeah, we have actually. We had some rain on Friday last week that kind of shut our day down early, but then it dried out over the weekend. I think we had a little bit of rain Saturday night. I think we might have had a little bit of rain, but it was super dry this morning. I've been watering the trees at our property that we planted, and I set up a little bit of a watering trailer last week. That was kind of something I really needed to do. I got a 275-gallon tank. I got some fittings and some hoses, and I put together this really cool little watering trailer, which I keep meaning to do a story about that. I might even make a YouTube video about it because I had so many people ask me about how we were doing that. But yeah, so now I have a way to water stuff. We just suck the water out of the pond and then water with that. So it's been working really, really well. So yeah, Tan Freese says, what tips do you have and why polysand, and maybe you meant what polysand do you use for direct concrete overlay, no room for bedding layer? That's a good question. I don't think I've ever done a direct overlay straight on the concrete with no bedding. I don't think I've ever done that, but I would refer you, go look at PolySweep. I mean, maybe there's somebody listening that might know. I have just never done an overlay with no bedding at all. So I'd be interested to hear what other people say, but most of the polysand we use, and we talked about this actually in length last week on last week's episode, so you can go back and listen to that if you want. But I really like the PolySweep polysand, and that's by SEK, I believe. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I can't sit here and tell you that that's good for a direct concrete overlay. Yeah, you'll have to check it out. I don't know if the resin-based sands would be okay with that. I would assume not regular nitro, because it's permeable. But the new Nitro X, you might be okay doing that. But again, you have to do your research. You have to read the label. I do not listen to what I'm telling you right now, because I do not have experience with doing a direct concrete overlay. Brennan Lorden Landscape Construction on Instagram says, thank you for the contract update. It has worked great for us. Awesome. Yeah. So we sent out, and so if you're a new listener or whatever, if you're watching live and never watched us or listening to the podcast, we have our contract that we sell on our website, mulderoutdoors.com. You can go to the resource page, and we sell our landscape and hardscape contract, which is like a 7 or 8 page contract that we use for all our jobs. Our maintenance contract, our snow contract, there's a bunch of forms on there. There's a job costing spreadsheet and job profitability spreadsheet, and training videos for each one of those. I saw somebody asked a question. I don't know if I missed it. Where did I see that? Somebody, what did I ask? Oh, yeah, I missed this question. Lambert Property Maintenance says, can you do a how-to video on your Mulder paver edging? Yeah, so on our website, we have a video that you can purchase, and it's a full training video. I think it's an hour and a half or 2 hours long of exactly how to do our paver edging that we do, our Mulder custom cut paver edging. And so there's a training video, again, mulderoutdoors.com. Go to our resources tab, and you can find all those things. But anyways, when you buy a contract from us, typically what we will do is anytime we update it or make a significant change or addition, we will send out a coupon code to anybody that bought it, and they can purchase that upgrade. It's the small, like I think it's $25 or $50, small upgrade fee, and then you can get the new version of the contract. Recently, we added a section for price changes due to tariffs and those types of things, and so we added that into the contract, and then sent out a coupon code to anybody that had purchased our contract previously, and they get to get that update for a small upgrade fee. So you can check that out on our website if you have never checked that out. It's we have sold a lot of that contract, and it is the real deal. And yeah, so Tara TerraCare.Ottawa says, how is Spring Rush going for you and the company? It's going well, I would say. I just feel behind, but I think everybody does this time of year, and I know it always gets done. It always will. It always does, and very just thankful for the work. On YouTube, Jason Smith said, have you got a build date for HQ? That's a great question. I don't have a build date. I am still waiting on our approval from the highway department and INDOT, which last week we were told that Tuesday, tomorrow, they would have their meeting or whatever. I don't know, whatever that looks like, and I'm just praying that we get the approval that we need, and then we can submit everything to the county for final approval, because I am ready to rip on this job. I really am. So that's the second that we have that approval, then I'm going to be signing contracts with the builder and the excavator, and we're going to get this thing going. So again, I really, really want to be in that building by the end of the 2025 season. But we'll see. Brilliant Gardens on Instagram says, speaking of the new dirt attachment for the Encon, do you feel that you're in a net positive of time spent to dump soil at yard, process soil, load, deliver, etc., versus having soil delivered on site? I haven't ran the numbers on that. I really haven't. The dirt that we're processing is being dug straight out of the ground at my property, because it's topsoil that needs to move anyways to strip all the topsoil off the property. So all the topsoil is already there. It already needs to get out of there, and there's no reason that we can't use it. And so I'm able to screen it because it has some wood in it, and rocks and stuff that I don't want in it, of course. So we're able to use the 80 equipment, Rotostar screening bucket. And I'm telling you guys, that thing is the real deal. Man, I honestly am blown away by how much I was able to process, how fast I was able to process it, I guess. I was figuring I was doing about a yard a minute. Yeah, I think that's what I had figured, about a yard a minute. And so in 20 minutes, I was doing about a semi-load of dirt. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's really, really nice, and it's faster than I thought it was going to be. And I just loved it. Really, really nice attachment. And I'm telling you guys, they have all different sizes of them. Ours is a 4 to 9. It's a RS 4 to 9, which is a 4 to 9 for a 4 to 9 ton excavator. So technically, I believe that thing could go on my KX57, which it would be so cool if I had something that I could like quick attach, change coupler size. I don't know. I mean, that would just be so sick. Like an EC Oil S40 to S45 coupler, like an adapter plate that was EC Oil. I don't even know if that's possible. I did see in somebody sells in Sweden, it's an adapter plate that goes from S40 to S45, but it's got no hydraulics. If you can't switch to hydraulics. But if I could like have someone like it would cost a lot of money. Um, but it would definitely not cost as much as having a second screening bucket. So basically what I'm thinking is like I need the bottom end, I need a quick hitch, an S45 quick hitch for any machine, it doesn't matter. And then I need an S40 and an S45 quick hitch for some type of machine. And then I need to weld that onto an S45 coupler, a weld-on coupler, and then weld that to the quick hitch, and then run hoses from each EC oil block. No, that wouldn't work because how am I going to couple it? I would need a manual a manual S45 coupler to a weld-on EC to a weld-on S40 coupler. They would be welded together, and then I could take the S45 and put it on in the machine and then manually couple it, which like they sold years ago on my Takahauchi. I had a manual. It's like a snap coupler or something where it would, when you would click it on, it would automatically couple. But then it had this screw that you would tighten down and it would like couple it together and lock it in. So I need that on the S45 side, which would be the female side. And then I need, no, that would be the male side. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You understand what I'm trying to say. It would be just so sick if I could figure out a way to have a coupler adapter to go from S40 to S45 with EC oil. I don't know if there's some genius out there that wants to make money developing this with me and has the brains, and I would pay for all the parts. Let me know because I would invest in making something like that and seeing if that could work. But I don't have the time to do that. I just know what I want. But anyways, I back to Brilliant Garden's question, which is a good question. I do not know what the net positive of all that is. I mean, if I'm buying dirt for $30 a yard screened, pulverized dirt, $30 a yard, and obviously 20 yards on a semi, so $500 for the load. I'm sorry, $600 for the load plus delivery. You know, if I'm making that, I can make that load in 20 minutes with my screening bucket. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I think that's profitable. I mean, we don't go through that much dirt, but I mean, like the job that I'm on right now, I need probably 40 or 50 yards, and whatever 40 or 50 times 30 or 40, $35 or whatever. I don't, you know, I'm not a mathematician. I can figure that out. Let's find a calculator here and we'll do a little math here. Why can't I? Here we go. So if we're doing 60 yards times, call it $35, including delivery, that's $2,100. So if I'm able to save $2,100 on one load, one job for dirt. Now, of course, we got to haul it, but we're going to the job anyways every day. So there's days when we just go there with an empty truck. So I might as well bring some dirt there, right? So I don't know. I need to run numbers on it, of course, but there's other reasons I want to do that. That screening bucket does a lot of other things other than just dirt. So you can do aggregates, you can do different size stones, you can take there's so many things you can do with it. And I'm telling you guys, like this screening bucket is the real deal. And I was just blown away with it. And obviously, Donna and Anthony over at AD Equipment are phenomenal to work with, and go check them out. So I also put a YouTube video out of me using the screening bucket for the first time. And I talk through that a lot. I just talk through different processes and different ways to do it and things. The first half of the video, I was doing it wrong, basically. I was screening a lot of dirt, but I was overfilling the bucket, and I was basically, it would ultimately be um, a lot of extra wear and tear on the bucket that doesn't need to be. And so I had a long call with Donna and Anthony, and we talked through um, how to properly use it. And frankly, I should have just called them before I even started using it, but I was really excited. So who cares? You can do 3/4 minus, you can do 1/2 inch minus. You can take out rollers, I guess, and do like 3-inch minus or something like that. Like there's all kinds of ways to like configure it, I guess, configure the shafts. I don't. Anthony was talking about all that, and I thought it was very interesting, but I'm not at that point yet. But um, anyways, Timothy Patrick says, "Did you get the energy drink and did you enjoy it?" Yes, Timothy. And frankly, I'm sorry I haven't said anything to you. I forgot even like who had sent it to me. We got the package. I put a 6-pack in my fridge. It's called The Energy Drink. So if anybody's out there, you can go check it out. I'm not a big energy drink guy, but I did try one and I thought it was pretty good. I actually gave a 6-pack to a buddy of mine, and I asked him to try it and let me know what he thought of it. And then there's a couple more. There's a couple more in my fridge that I was going to bring to my guys and see how they liked it, because I don't drink a ton of those things. And they drink every morning, as I got a Monster in their hand or whatever. I give them a hard time about it. But anyways, thank you for sending those. And I thought the first one that I had was pretty good. And I will have to see what other people say about it when I let them try it. So thanks for sending it. Nick Weber 2 says, interested in a coaching call. Do you have a time of year that works better? I know spring is very busy. Nick, I believe you can go on our website and sign up for that. I think that's still on there. I had talked about taking it off for a while. Spring is a really busy time, so summer would probably be better. But if you wanted to do in the spring, we'll make time for it. So you can go on the website, mulderoutdoors.com, and go to, I believe it's the resources page, and you can look for that option to, you can pay for it there, and then my office manager will get a hold of you, and there's like a form that you can fill out with like a questionnaire basically that kind of helps me understand your company a little bit, and then we can figure out a time to do that. So I appreciate that. Brilliant Gardens says looks like he's talking about going back to that concrete overlay. Says are there any concerns with running a roller on direct overlay and the pavers cracking with? Yeah, I would probably not do a roller compactor over a direct overlay. I would not do that. So that sounds like a bad idea. You're welcome, Lambert Property Maintenance. He said thank you. Checking out on YouTube if there's any more questions. Again, we don't have a huge following in YouTube, but I'm just trying to be consistent and give people another place to watch the podcast and see it live, and then listen to it later live if they want to. And so Eagle Creek Outdoor Living says, do they make one for a skid or a mini skid? He's talking about the AD equipment screening bucket, and I didn't talk about that. So my screening bucket actually has a plate on the back side of it that I can also hook it up to my skid loader. So I have not done that. I shouldn't say that. We did that last fall quickly. So basically there's 2 caps that I take off. I put these hoses on there that allow the hydraulic oil to go to my skid loader. And then it's got a quick hitch plate on the back, and I can just quick hitch up to it and screen with the skid loader. So you do not have to do it with an excavator. So I believe any screener that you want to get, you could get that plate mounted on the back, and it's just a bolt-on piece, and it doesn't inhibit the usage of it when you're not using the skid loader. You just got to take the hoses off and put the caps back on. Honestly, it took me 5 minutes to do that. So it's really, really cool. So if you're going to order one or you want to know about it, if you want Donna and Anthony's number, please reach out to me. I just cannot say enough good things about them, and they will answer all your questions and let them know that I sent you. So Green Monster says, we were just talking about coupler adapters today. Please get this figured out for us. Man, I'm telling you, if there was somebody out there that had the mental bandwidth to do this and liked to weld and knew how to, like, what I'm trying to do, I know what I want. It just comes down to, like, how do you make it work? I don't think there's no way you could do it all from the cab. There would have to be some kind of manual coupler on the S45 bottom. That's the whole thing. The top would be a quick hitch S40, no problem. EC oil, that's literally the least of my worries. I have a weld on EC oil bracket right here. Weld that on to the top of a quick hitch off of an excavator. And it doesn't matter what the excavator is, because you would cut the ears off, weld it to the top. 2 short little hoses that go to each port. And then how do you get it to couple to whatever you're doing? Because you're not going to have electronics to do that. That's the piece. I mean, the coupler, the S45 coupler would probably be $6-7 grand, maybe $8 grand. I don't know. And then your weld-on coupler, which is, what is that, $2 grand? I don't know. So you'd be $10,000 into this thing. But if it would allow me then to use the screening bucket on my KX57, well, what is the screening bucket? 22, 23, 24 grand, 22 to 25 grand, I think. I don't know. I believe it's something like that. And so you would be, obviously you'd be into it only half, but then you could do that for other attachments then. I don't know what you would use other attachments for, but or the other thing I'm thinking about, actually. We're figuring this out on the podcast right here, guys. This is like real time. So you could do, it doesn't have to have hydraulic at all if you don't want to. You could just do 2 couplers. It would have to be a manual coupler, and then the top would be ECO. It doesn't need to have anything. Then you could just leave the hoses on that you would use typically for the skid loader, and you could hook those up to your secondary hydraulics on my KX57. I have secondary hydraulics. I could hook them up to that and use it like that. Now, I don't know how that would work with the tilt rotator, but whatever. I'm just talking through this. There's got to be a way to do it, and if somebody came up with that, holy smokes, that would be just killer. Anyways, so Brilliant Garden says a yard a minute is insane. That is sick. And if the soil is needed to get out of your yard, anyways, process away, my friend. Yeah, and then when we're gonna do our earthwork, a good portion of the topsoil has to get used around the property for the earthwork. But I probably will have a portion of topsoil that doesn't, and we're gonna push that all behind my bin pad. And then the plan is I'm gonna pour my bin pad, right? Build my bin, and then I'm gonna put all that topsoil on the backside of the bin pad. And then I'm going to get my excavator right up on top of that dirt pile, and I'm going to sit there and scoop the dirt, come over the bin pad, screen it right into the bin. And I hope to have a hoop house and all the stuff that covers that eventually. But that's like my dream. And then on the back side of the bin pad will always be where if we need to dump junk or we need to dump, yard waste, probably not yard waste, but like whatever, sod or whatever we're dumping back there. It's getting mixed into the dirt. We're getting back there with the machine whenever we want to, and we sit up on top, and then we sit there and we screen. And that's kind of my vision for the screening bucket and why I wanted one. And literally, I screened 60, 80 yards last week. Like, just at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, I would go out there for 20, 30 minutes, or I was out there for 2 hours one time, and I'm like, I cannot believe how much dirt I just screened. And it's honestly, and I talked about this in the YouTube video, it's really like therapeutic, frankly. Like, I just love, it's just like so satisfying. You just sit there and watch this beautiful dirt just come on. I don't know. I really like it. It's fun. And I like equipment. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that by now, but um, yeah, I don't know. We had a couple questions from earlier today. If you guys want to, if there's any other questions you want to talk about, of course, you can put them in the comments like we talked about. But a couple questions from earlier today that I thought were some good questions. And guys, I gotta say, like, I've been doing this now, this podcast for coming up. I think this is year 3 or 4 now, and 120, 125 episodes. I can't remember. Um, and so that's 100 and we'll just call it 120 episodes. I think we're at a little over that now, but and it's always amazing to me that there's always questions that we haven't answered before, we haven't talked about, and we are at last week's episode was 120, episode 120, and how cool is that? Um, So 120 hours of talking on the internet with you guys and answering questions and talking about whatever we want to talk about. And there's always something that I feel like I haven't been asked. And it just keeps me coming back. And I appreciate everybody that tunes in every single week to this show live and asks questions. But as you know, we leave a question box on our Instagram, usually sometime the day before or the day of that I'm going to do the podcast, and people can ask questions. We don't always get to those questions, but um, I'll get to these today. So the first one was, what services do I sub out? We sub out all of our fertilizing and weed control. I've been working with a company locally for, I don't know, 5 years now, 6 years. I'm not really sure, maybe longer than that. And they do all of our fertilizing and weed killers. So I don't do a ton. I don't have a ton of accounts. And that's really why I decided just to sub it out. Number one, I don't have the expertise that I really need to do that. Number two, I don't have my license anymore. And number three, I don't have the right equipment. And I think to make money in that business, you really need the right equipment. And I wasn't willing to invest in that equipment and then always have somebody who's licensed and all this stuff. And that's not what I do. I did it for a short time in the beginning, but quickly learned that it's just not something that I want to keep doing. And so we sub out all of our fertilizing and weed control. And we also, last year at the end of the year, we sent out a letter to all of our customers and told them that, our maintenance customers, and told them that we no longer will be offering fertilizing services to customers that do not also have us do lawn care. And the reason for that is, number one, it's not like I'm retiring off of the money we make off of fertilizing. So it's a service that we offer. It's really helpful for the customer that they have one person to take care of some of the stuff. And I want to do that for the customers that are also maintenance customers. And so anyways, we sent out a letter to all of the customers that don't do lawn care, lawn maintenance, but have us do fertilizing, and said, I'm sorry, like, we told them to call the company that we use that we sub to, and told them just to call them direct, and we're not going to, there's no sense in going through us, just go through them direct. If you want to use us for lawn care, then we can do the whole thing, and that's fine. And that's what I offer. So anyways, what other service do we sub out? I sub out pressure washing services. I sub out sealing services, cleaning and sealing. I sub out water features, pretty much exclusively. We don't really do any of our own water features. And what else do I sub out? Man, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm yawning too much. It's kind of embarrassing. I think that's all we sub out. Yeah, I think that's all we sub out. For the most part, that's pretty much what we do. So, I sub out I actually this started last year. I sub out pond cleaning services to people. Uh, I literally have two customers that we do that for, and so we hire a company to do um, pond treatment. So they treat the algae and they treat the growth inside the pond, and they come like 6 times a year. Just I don't even need to call them; they just do it. They bring their little boat, they back it in, they treat the pond 6 times a year, and we facilitate that. So, which that kind of leads into this next question, which is what odd services do you do for customers that isn't usual landscape? And I would say that is one service that is not usual landscape work. And so, yeah, that's something that we sub out and we take care of. Now, again, I don't do it myself. So maybe that's not what you're looking for, but that is kind of an odd service. Um, I got something in my eye. Um, both of my eyes. I don't know, they're like burning. But anyways, it was hot today. Like I probably got sweat in my eyes. Uh, anyways, it's I'm tired, guys. It was a long Monday. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what other odd services do we do. I don't know. I don't really. We're pretty like straightforward. Like I don't know. We're a normal company. Yeah, I don't know. I'd really try my best to stay in our lane. And the longer I'm in business, the more I want to like get it, like chiseled down to exactly what we're good at. And like today, I'll give you an example. We do irrigation startups and shutdowns for five, six, I'm gonna say less than 10 customers. Um, these are customers that most of the time we've installed their system. We are basically a one-stop shop for them. We do all of their maintenance, irrigation, lawn care, fertilizing, pressure washing, cleaning, pond cleaning, mulching, uh, anything they need, we will do. And so we do the irrigation startup and shutdown. And like I'm gonna keep doing it for these select customers, but there was a time where we were offering that service to anybody, any of our maintenance customers. We would just put it on like our contract as like an option if somebody wanted to sign up for it. And it was that it's not I no. We took it off. We don't do it. We don't offer it anymore. And we only offer it to these select few customers, systems that we've installed. Because today there was a customer that there was a leak over the weekend, and we were there last week repairing a couple things. It was really weird, the problems that we had. Very everything like what we were having problems with is I learned why today. But anyways, there was another leak on the same zone with the same kind of head, and I had to run out there and fix it. And like as I was going out there, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I am not an irrigation contractor. I need my landscape guys to stay landscaping, so I'm not going to send them out to do that. I knew what the problem was. It wasn't going to take me long, but it was 40 minutes from the job site. So 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back, 20 minutes to fix the problem. And there went, 2 hours of my day. And I can't, you know, I can't charge them 3 hours of labor to go fix that. No, I mean, you get paid for your time, of course, but I don't know. I just back to what I was saying. But these customers that we do this for, like we do everything for them. So it's like when they ask to jump, you ask how high, and it's like they've spent a lot of money with me. They're great loyal customers. They don't question anything, and I'm gonna do it. But like the longer I'm in business, the more, and I'm just going back to that now. The longer I'm in business, the more I want to like narrow down as much as I can, uh, just to stay focused on what we do the best. I don't need to be everything to everybody, and but I also struggle with saying no. And I think there's plenty of people out there that can relate to that. It's hard to say no to stuff, and you want to be everything for not for everybody, but there's I'm sure everybody has those few customers that you just want to be everything that they need. And there's some good things there's some good things about that, especially for the right client. But you have to be careful with that because I think over the years we've tried different things and said we could offer different things, and then ultimately it's like, no, we're not good at that. Like, what are we doing? This is not what we do the best. And so, we've added things, then we take them away. And I don't know, like there was a time when I was offering air rating services for people. I don't want to be an air rating company. I just don't. I don't own an aerator. We would rent one. It was like a nightmare. Anyways, and it's just you live and learn, and you try to do your best. And um, I just keep learning that less is more, and to be specialized in something is there's nothing wrong with that. And I just try to do that. So Kyle Ainsley on Instagram says, "Is the paver grabo a suitable baby step before getting a VaxWorks, or safe for the or save for the big one?" Good question. So the grabo um, is awesome, but I would not be slinging slabs with that thing. It can barely lift a Unilock Beacon Hill XL slab. Barely. I would not put that thing on an excavator because it's too jerky. Like if you make a move with that excavator, like you can be a little jerky with it. But man, you get that VacWorks thing, and it's right here. This thing. If you get that, like, I mean, you'd be pretty impressed with how jerky you can be with an excavator, and that thing still holds onto that paver. So I would not rely on that to be a baby step. I think it's a nice thing to have and use um, for like service things, and it's awesome. Like the new high flow is awesome, but it's definitely not meant to be strapped to an excavator slinging paver slabs. I wish it was not big like the Unilock. They're 22 by 35 and a 3/4 or something, like that size paver. Now, if you were doing like, I could see it being useful for like a Unilock Sereno paver, maybe. We did like 8,000 square feet of that 2 years ago. But for that, you can use the regular Grabo, not the high flow, because the surface is so tight that it's almost like a wet cast paver. So you don't need to use the high flow. But like a smaller paver, it would probably be good for. But I mean, you're maxing that little thing out on a big slab, and I don't think that's what it was made to do. But, I don't know. If I were you, I probably would just save for the big one and do the VacWorks thing. And I'm telling you, that's a sweet suction setup, and we've been doing a lot of slabs with that thing. And if you order from Pave Tool, Mulder Outdoors saves you 10%. So check her out. Winwood Property Services, what's going on? It says, do you guys have any mulch blowing companies by you that strictly blow mulch? No, not that I know of. Because if there was, I probably would sub some mulch blowing jobs to them. I really would. But there's one or two guys, I think, one for sure that I know of has a mulch blower, like a trailer version. I don't know how much they do with it. You can rent them, of course. But yeah, I don't know of any strictly mulch blowing companies by us. And if for some reason there isn't, I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting introduced to them. Inca Stone, what's going on, buddy? He said, just because you can, just because we can doesn't mean we should. And is that's going to be the title of the podcast right there, buddy. I'm going to write that down. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. So there you go. Inca Stone, you win. You win tonight. Doesn't mean we should. And okay, dude. If any of you guys are out there and you haven't seen what Inca Stone has been building. They've been building a stone semi truck, like a flatbed semi truck out of natural stone. And it has got to be arguably one of the most custom things I've ever seen in my life, hardscape wise. I thought I had seen it all when I saw the Moon Gate by Green Monster. And go check out Green Monster Landscape and have your mind blown by what that guy does. When he did that Moon Gate thing, it's truly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. It is. Like, if he was by me, I probably would pay him to build me one. I don't know why. I don't know where I would put it, but I would want one. But anyways, Inca Stone, go check them out on Instagram. Those guys are true artists, and I'm telling you, they built a stone, natural stone, true to scale, semi, and it is it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. The amount of work that had gone into this artwork, this piece of art. I mean, I don't know. It's honestly hard to comprehend, and I would love to go see that someday if I could. Um, really, really cool. Scoville's landscape contractor says we gave up almost all our irrigation for the same reason. There you go. Brilliant Garden says we install a lot of three-piece. Is that better for the gravel? Yes, I think the gravel is amazing for a three-piece, 100%. Winwood Proper Service says interesting. He was asking the question about the mulch blower. Interesting. I'll bring our truck down if you line them up. You have a blower truck? I did not know that. And you're really not that far from me. You should send me some of your rates and how that works. Like, do I have to have like bulk mulch sitting there on site, or like how does that work? Shane Porter says, "What's the pros over the Ditch Witch mini skid versus the Vermeer?" Well, depends what size Ditch Witch you're talking about. I'll just tell you my experience, and we've talked about this in quite a lot of detail over the years, but so we went from a Vermeer CTX 100 to a Ditch Witch 1550. We now have the Ditch Witch 1750, which I will tell you, I ran actually for the first time. I ran it the other day for a little while, and it's pretty much exactly the same machine between the 1750 and 1550. Now, I haven't lifted a lot of weight with it, so it'd be interesting to see. I haven't lifted like full skids of pavers, but the guys told me the other day they moved a full skid of what was it? They lifted a full skid of what did they lift? Of I think it was a full skid of Unilock Old Quarry wall. I think they lifted the full skid of that off the truck, and they said they was able to do that. So I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what they lifted, but they said it lifted the full skid out of the truck. I think it was sideways too. That's the key with the mini skids. Like, for sure, you got to have the skid sideways. You can't go through it the other way. But anyway, you really can't. It is not fair to sit here and go and critique the 1550 or the 1750 against the CTX 100 because they're just not the same machine. It's not fair to Vermeer to do that. I think Vermeer makes a phenomenal mini skid. They really do. I had no problems with my CTX 100. I really like my Vermeer dealer. They're phenomenal. And I would totally still be with Vermeers if they made a bigger Vermeer. But at the end of the day, the Ditch Witch 1550 runs circles around the CTX 100, but it's not the same class machine. I think you'd have to go to the Ditch Witch like 750 or whatever. I don't know what the Ditch Witch numbers are other than the 1750. It's just not the same machine, so you can't compare the two. But the CTX 100 was a phenomenal mini skid, and if I needed a mini skid that needed to be thinner, needed to be skinnier, like 36 inches or whatever, I would totally just go back to the Vermeer. It was a great machine. The controls were awesome. My dealer is phenomenal. Awesome support. And I have nothing but good things to say about Vermeer as a company and as my dealer and dealer support and all that stuff. Both of the my ditch switch dealer and the Vermeer dealer are very far away from us. They're very far, hour and a half, 2 hours away. But I do all my service locally, anyways. But I love the ditch witch. I also have not had any problems with ditch witch service or getting anything that I needed. I really haven't. I have nothing bad to say about either one of them. Um, I just will tell you, if you want any skid that's going to lift pallets of pavers, the ditch witch 1550 or 1750 is way better than the CTX 100. But it just depends on what your needs are and what size you want it to be. But both are phenomenal mini skids. But the Ditch Witch runs circles around the CTX 100. The 1750, please preface that. I don't know what it would be like to run like the 750 or whatever the lower model is, which would be more comparable to the CTX 100. I don't know what that. I haven't never ran that, so I don't know if it actually would run circles around the CTX 100. But I know that I had a CTX 100 and it was a phenomenal mini skid. But the Ditch Witch mini skid, the Ditch Witch 1550 is way better. It's bigger, it's faster, it's stronger. But it's not in the same class. It's like comparing a TL10. It's like comparing the Takeuchi TL10 to the Kubota SVL 97. They're not in the same weight class, so you can't compare them. Of course, the 97 is going to run circles around the TL10. It's just going to. It's got 15 or 20 more horsepower. It's way different. So Inca Stone says the CTX 160 versus 1550 is closer comparative. Yeah, it is comparison. Yeah, it is, but I also tried that and the 1550 still lifted way more than the CTX 160. They're great machines, but the CTX 160, I believe, is the only thing that's different. I think it's a little bit longer and has a different weight kit on it. It's not that much more of a different machine. And I did try the 160, and the 1550 still ran circles around it, in my opinion. It is a closer comparison, yes. But I think Vermeer's best move would be for them to make a mini skid that is very comparable to the 1550 or 1750. I think it's really important. All right. If they were to do that, I would strongly look at it. I really would, because I really like Vermeer, and I've really liked the dealership, and they have been great with us. They gave us a chipper and stump grinder and stuff that we could use at our property, and we did some videos with them, and we demoed equipment. We demoed that mini loader and showed you guys a bunch of that last summer. And they're very supportive and a great dealership, and they're a great brand. But I think if they could come out with like a CTX 250 or something like that, whatever that looks like, I think that'd be cool. A little wider, a little longer, more juice. I think that's what the people want from here. If you're listening out there, we want something bigger. Shane Porter says we rented a CTX 160 for a week last year and we liked it a lot. We just haven't tried a Ditch Witch 1550 yet, so I was curious. You should really try one because they're faster forward, they're faster in reverse, they're stronger, they lift higher. It's a great mini skid. It really is. We had one of the questions that we didn't get to from today in the question box was how do I manage my time while having multiple jobs going on at once? That's a good question, and I don't think I'm going to be able to sit here and give you the golden answer, except you run around a lot. Managing expectations is super important for your customer, and I know you're talking about how do I manage my time, but we typically don't have multiple crews going on. We may have 2 jobs going on, but we don't have multiple crews. So, and maybe that's what you're asking, like how do I manage my time if I had multiple crews? So maybe I'm not the right person to answer that question, but you need to be more of a project manager mindset if you have 2 jobs going on at the same time. So, and again, like it was really important when we left the big job that we're on right now to go do this other job. I typically do not like to do that. I really don't. And I talked about that in my sales process. I tell the customer that, but in this instance, the customer, or the big job, they were getting a new driveway, and I didn't want to be there while the driveway was going on because we had a lot of other stuff to do, and it would have been too many trucks. It was just, I don't want to be. I'm not going to the job site if we can't be productive. So they were going to get that driveway done, and I said, okay. I told them, I said, okay, if you do this, I think this is the perfect time to get the driveway done. And it's also, I have this other job that I really want to get done by a certain time for this customer. They asked if we could get it done by a certain time, which we honored that because they have done a massive amount of work with us last year. And yes, we will get it done for you by this time. And I said, why don't we pull off the job site? Which again, I don't typically do, but we had a conversation. I said, why don't I pull off the job site? I want to run over here and get this other job done. Number one, it helps for you getting your driveway poured while we're gone. And number two, we needed some more time before the plants came in because not everything was in. And I really don't like to plant plants unless everything is in, because then it's like, it's hard to spot things. I like to have it all there so I can visualize how it's going to look. And, sometimes something comes and it's like, it's a little bigger than I thought. Maybe we don't need as much. And sometimes you leave a space and then it comes and it's too small and like you would have moved it. And so anyways, I don't like to spot plants and plant plants unless all of them are there. And there's a big plant palette on this job. And so anyways, not all the plant material is ready. I'm like, so this is perfect. I'm going to leave. You're going to get your driveway done. It allows us 2 more weeks for the plants to come in, which they will be in perfectly by the end of this week. And then everything will be in. And then come next week, Monday, all the plants can be delivered and we can start. And this job got done over here. The client is super happy over here. And this job is over here. We're going to go back to that and we're going to get all that job done. Now, there's some other little things we're going to be sprinkling in there. And I have kind of a plan for that. I have a new guy starting in another week and a half, I think. And I'm going to have him with one other guy go and like do some of these other small little odd jobs that we really need to get done. And I've been kind of like dragging my feet on it a little bit this spring. And so, but the important thing is communication with both customers. Like, I explained the situation. I said, this is how I think it's going to work. They were good with it. If they weren't good with it, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I didn't tell this customer over here that we were going to do that until I knew that it was okay for this customer. Does that make sense? So it's important to like not to under promise and over deliver every time. And if you say you're going to do something, like, you better do it. And I'm very careful about what I say and when I say it and how I say it, so I don't paint myself in a corner. And I think that's really important as well. So yeah, I don't know if that answers that question. I hope that helps a little bit. Promo Landscape says, "How's the Rover?" It's great. I haven't used it in several weeks now, just because I haven't needed to use it. I'm actually this week. I need to get a plan off that I did a site analysis for. This is for a job in the fall, and it'll be the first time I get a site analysis off of the Rover and into my landscape design program. And the crappy part is I waited too long to do this, and we had a whole workflow figured out with my site tech dealer. And I think I need to look back on my videos on my phone. I think I videoed how to do it when he like walked through it, and I videoed the whole thing. I'm hoping that I have all the steps in there because it'll be the first time I do it, and I don't want to mess it up. So, anyways, it's awesome. I love it. I'm going to use it a lot when we're building this building here real soon, and I'm excited for that. So, Grizscapes, do you recommend all your plants to the customer, or do the customer want certain plants? A little bit of both. I also have a plant designer that we work with, and she helps me out when I need to. The job that we're on right now, the big job that we're going to get, well, really both jobs. The job we're on right now, I did the full plant design for that, and the job that we're going back to, I did the full plant design on that. But she, the homeowner gave me a ton of ideas. We went back and forth on a lot of plants. There still might be some changes when we go to do layout. I'm very flexible, and you have to understand, like, when you're doing these jobs, and I would consider these high-end, large hardscape jobs where it's a full package. I'm very flexible. I can work together with the client in whatever capacity they want. I'm very much okay with changes if they want to make changes, because ultimately, if we've come that far, I don't need to sour the relationship because she wants to change it from this plan to the other. Like, it's okay. Like I have a lot of patience for that, and ultimately I want to leave that job site and know that they are thrilled. And I don't, obviously I give them my ideas, I give them my expertise, I tell them what I think is going to work really well. But if they want to change it, like if there's something that I don't like I'm definitely willing to stand up for myself and say, listen, like I know you like that plant, but it's not a good option here. I would not recommend it. I do that totally. But if it's a good option and it doesn't matter if we change it, why would I? I'm not going to push back on that. If they would like to change it to something else, okay, we're going to change it. But we also spend a lot of time in the design phase. I don't think we're going to have a ton of changes on the site because we've talked through a lot of things. It's in 3D. We've looked up plants. We've talked about different options, so it's pretty dialed. But it can happen. So, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. We're at an hour, a little over an hour, and a lot of great discussion tonight. I really appreciate it. And thanks to our sponsors, Unilock, for being a sponsor. Pave Tool Innovators, go check them out. Don't forget that coupon code Mulder Outdoors. Albany's Candy Factory, the official candy of the Mulder Life podcast. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the podcast tonight, coming to you from the NCon Studios, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks.